Today is day 52 of 100 Random Acts of Kindness. As many of you know, I have many close friends, and I've been very lucky to have a number of close friends since I was really little. We grew up in a small town, and of all the girls graduating from my elementary school in French immersion, there were 7 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7, including myself, were in my wedding. And another one was at my wedding, and the other 2 don't live in the area and I've lost contact with, but that's kind of the way we grew up. And then many people who I went to high school with, same thing, I've kept in touch with, and I've been really lucky that way. There have been a number of us who have known each other for 30 years, and I'm 33 years old. So again, just exceptionally lucky. I know that as I grew older, I realized that wasn't necessarily the case for a lot of people. People moved, or they just didn't necessarily click with the people who they went to high school with or elementary school with. And we were just really lucky, and we've been a strong sense of support for each other. Sometimes I know that's one way that I get a lot of support and can't always provide it. Leah, who I talk about a lot, you saw her a lot during the 100 Days of Gratitude. Leah and I just have kind of clung to each other. Neither one of us had sisters, and we just kind of became each other's sister. We were in every class together through elementary school, and then in grade 9 we kind of thought, what are we going to do without each other? And the whole first semester we had every class together. I don't know how that happened. I've never heard of that happening, but we did. We had every single class together first semester, which was just, oh my gosh, thank God that happened, because we just have clung to each other year after year, decade after decade at this point. So a lot has happened a lot just seems to continually happen in our lives. But for Leah, she has had one hell of a long time, but including the last year. And she ended up in March, moved 3 hours to our little tiny village, just to be close to me. And I can't think of anybody else who would do that. And she's just this incredible human who I can't imagine anything that I would ask her to do that she wouldn't do. She brings us over things while she's out that she thinks of, things that we'll like it, things that we'll use. When I have consistent pain, but I have compression fractures in my lower spine. The injections that I get are really big needles, which I don't want to talk about, as well as the injection sites kind of need to be massaged afterwards. She bought these, who makes them? Robaxacet, or whoever makes that, Robaxacel. These like heating pads that I can put on my lower back, that I can put over the injection sites, just stuff like that, stuff that I wouldn't necessarily buy for myself. Food, she's constantly bringing, I stopped at Costco and grabbed food and threw it in the freezer for us, or in the fridge for us. It's just endless, it seems. And so I can't even emphasize to you what she has done, and the friendship that I've had and the sisterhood that she and I have is just unreal. And as I've mentioned before, my platelets are just kind of in the trash right now. And so Friday was 50,000. So normal, I know I keep repeating myself, but normal levels are 130 to 300,000. When I started the trial, I was at 200,000. Now I'm down to 50. Yesterday, or as of Friday, yesterday I was 58. And so they wanted me to come back tomorrow. So my choice was stop taking the cancer drug that's potentially keeping me stable. We'll see next week. Or go in every other day and get my blood work done. Again, like I've explained, going in to get a blood test done, not a huge deal. I have a massive needle phobia. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Just don't look, it doesn't hurt that much, whatever it is. There is a reason for my phobia. It's not logical. It's very frustrating. Exposure therapy is exhausting. I'm about to cry now. It is so overwhelming. And if anybody wishes that I wasn't afraid of needles, it's me. Sometimes, honestly, the majority of nurses are incredible, as many of you know. But there is the odd nurse who just isn't having it. Just they've decided that I need to get over this. And I have had to say the words before. If anybody wants this to stop, it's me. So I am sorry that this is hard on you. I can guarantee it's 30,000 times harder on me right now because I am panicking. So Friday I had blood work. Tuesday I had blood work. Tomorrow I have blood work. I have an IV on Friday. I have blood work on Tuesday. I have 2 injections in my hip on Wednesday. I have an IV on Wednesday. I have blood work Wednesday. I have an injection in my stomach on Wednesday. Like, we are in Needle City right now. And it's not getting any easier. And I've been afraid my entire life. And like I've explained to people, it's like telling somebody who's afraid of heights, it's not that high. It's like if you are petrified of spiders and somebody said, well, I'm just going to put this tarantula on your face. It's not going to hurt you. I'm just going to put it on your face for however long a blood test is, depending on the vials, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And just sit there. It's not going to, close your eyes. Just don't look. Well, when you're petrified of something, that's not how it works. And obviously I get told this a lot. That's why I get a little defensive about it. So there's that. We live about 40 minutes away from the hospital. So return trip, we're looking at about an hour and a half just to get one vial of blood and then to find out that my platelets are still low. So I cut myself. I'm going to bleed forever, bruising endlessly. Like, I'm over it. And what keeps playing in the back of my mind is that I know one day that they're going to say there's nothing else we can do. And I know there are a lot of people out there right now who are in that spot. And I feel so selfish. Not willing to be monitored for a trial that might be working. And that's what keeps playing in my head. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it good. But that's what kind of keeps me thinking you gotta go. You gotta go. Don't stop taking it for the week off. You gotta go and get this blood test done. And it's exhausting. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So, Leah came with me on Tuesday to get my blood work. She's going with me tomorrow to get my blood work. She's going with me on Friday to get my MRI for the IV. And I think the majority of people can go and do these things on their own, and I can't. I need a hand holder. I need somebody to tell me the instant the needle's out of me, because I'm obviously not looking. I need somebody to kind of defend me when the nurse is sometimes saying things, for her to kind of say, can we not talk about that? And the fact is that it's without question. It's not, can you take me to the hospital? It's like, okay, what are your appointments this week? When are we going? What time do you need me? Like, there's just no hesitation. She's my go-to. She's my endless sense of support. And like I said, she's got enough on her plate that she has to deal with, and she just puts me first. To a fault sometimes, where she doesn't put herself first. And the random act of kindness is going to all these appointments with me. And how many times people have said to me, I wish I could go to these appointments. I wish I could take your needles. I wish you didn't have cancer. And Leah just shows up for me constantly. And so, again, for the 1000th time, work to your strengths. If you're not, I've been told before, well, I'm not a thoughtful person. Like, I'm not creative with the ideas that I have. Taking somebody to an appointment doesn't take a lot of creativity. And sometimes, like, nobody likes needles, I don't think, but most people are okay. They don't have a panic attack, literally, when they get a needle. Maybe they just need a ride to the front door to avoid paying for parking. and then they're not having to drive to the hospital. It really, or afterwards, well, we're already in town, maybe we could go to the grocery store, or maybe you could watch my kids while I go to the hospital, or you get the drift. These are concrete, tangible things that can be used in your life if you know somebody. It doesn't have to be cancer. These are random acts of kindness. It can be anything, but they are like such a game changer. And Keith would just be taking time off work every day. Every day he'd be taking his sick wife to the hospital. Whereas Leah just felt like that is so helpful. Because I can't get a needle on my own. And I have a lot of shame about that. And we're working through that right now in exposure therapy, that I cannot manage a needle on my own. I'm 33. I've had more procedures than I can count, and I can't get a blood test. Like, not my proudest moment, but I still can't do it. So it is exceptionally helpful. And I mean, also just doctor's appointments, having that second set of ears there is so important to anybody who's newly diagnosed, or if you're watching this because somebody has been newly diagnosed in your life, ask if you can go to the appointments, because having that second set of ears, I don't know how often, even to this day, I've been dealing with cancer for over 7 years, almost 7.5 years. And to this day, Keith and I will leave an appointment and I'll say something and he'll say, well, she said this. And I'll go, oh, I didn't hear that. Because you're hearing, it's just like an unload of information. So you're hearing it and trying to process it, but also trying to catch up to the next thing that's being said. You're trying to ask questions. And so just having that extra set of ears is really helpful. Sometimes people come with me and they try to write things down, but especially because I'm so far in, we're having conversations that are so above somebody's head who doesn't know the cancer world. I'm throwing medication out there, or procedures out there, or people's names, so trying to take notes if you're not there every single time would be impossible. Keith might be able to take notes because he's been to 1,000 of my 5,000 appointments, 1,000 of my 1,200 appointments. He doesn't miss very many. But I like, take notes if you want, but it might be a little challenging. Now I'm just rambling. So Talia, I know it's not very random because, like I've said before, that's who you are, but as simple as it may seem to you, it is just an endless wealth of support. So I love you so much, and on to tomorrow. Sorry, this was a little long-winded. Talk to you tomorrow.